Ah! Ah, shit. Right now I'm trying to keep my RPM low, because the higher the RPM is, the more gas you're using, and especially when you're just driving, like, to work or whatever, you wanna keep at least for my car, it's like a RPM of under like 2,000 is I think the most optimal, because you go over that, you accelerate too much, and then you have to brake, and then you're just wasting oil. You're causing extra friction on the gears, on the tires. I don't know the exact words, but there's like a braking pad. So you're just wearing out your car unnecessarily. I think it's something that should be taught when people start driving, because I think when younger people, especially like my age, whether it's male or female or whatever gender thing, I guess we're talking more like biologically because of like hormones and that kind of stuff. There's a tendency to want to drive fast. Maybe it's like a dopamine thing where it's like, oh, that feels nice, because like it's like intense and like you're like chasing a thrill. I gotta start saying it's like you're chasing a thrill, and that thrill is really exciting, it's really engaging, and it really hits something in our brains, but it isn't useful, right? You can't just go on with your life just chasing dopamine, chasing highs. If we did that, we would be drug addicts, and I don't think most people want to be drug addicts. It's just something that happens to us when we don't really pay attention to what we're doing with our lives, you know? When we live on autopilot, it's really easy to get addicted to things, because addiction essentially abuses your brain, like its network, your neural networks, your hormones, your biological instincts, and it is through logic, awareness, and good companionship. I think it's like a social life is also really important for treating addiction, because without a social life, addiction can be like pretty comforting, at least like the initial. Because the thing is, you only get addicted because it feels good, and maybe it replaces something that is missing from your life, right? Like, I remember me being like extremely addicted to video games because I had no social life in the US. Or I wouldn't go out, I didn't have many hobbies, I didn't have many people to like talk to or like hang out with. I used to be like this otaku, basically, who would just stay at home, do nothing, and complain to myself and watch self-help videos that are basically like self-masturbation. Just talking about how I'm like being useless or like not really working on myself while being addicted, because I didn't have a social life. I didn't have anything that I wanted to pursue. And maybe I did have things that I wanted to pursue, but I just didn't have the environment or like the internal motivation or drive to achieve those things or to really pursue those things. And I think a social life would have helped a lot with that. And definitely not just a random one where, like, you know, because is going to like parties, I mean, I was like, what, 12? But is going to parties and like, I don't know, just chilling and like talking about literally nothing, like, oh, look at that chick, stuff like that. Is that really a social life? Or is that, I mean, I guess it is, but it definitely isn't a positive influence compared to like friends that you can talk about like quote unquote interesting stuff. Like, is catcalling, the objectification of people, men or women, and what else? I don't know, just like the belittling of people, like gossip. They can be well, gossip can be fun, but the others, it's like it's just a waste of time, and you're actively building a foundation of this personality of like being judgmental and like being really critical of people's appearances, and that often backfires and it turns into what's the word I'm trying to what's the thing I'm trying to say? You become really critical of your own looks because you were so critical of others, and you're afraid that you will be judged the same way that you judged others. And I guess that's why I try not to hate people and try not to criticize people. And I definitely don't like judging people's looks. When I do, I usually try to think of it as like, oh, what is something that this person can do so that they can make themselves look better? Not even in the sense that what others would think, but like making yourself look clean and hygienic is just such a simple thing that I see a lot of people don't do. I mean, in college and like the classmates I see, I think most of them are like, they take care of themselves, and it makes a really big difference compared to those who don't. And I think I used to not really be someone who was hygienic, but because of the people around me and like being more aware, self-aware of my like the way I present myself. It isn't even about how people see me, but how I see myself. I want to be hygienic. I want to be good looking, whatever that means. But I would prefer to look good and like care about my looks, but not. I don't care about my looks because I want people to like me. I care about it because I care about myself. And I mean, those can be mutual. They don't have to be exclusive. I think caring about how people look, or caring about how other people perceive you and look at you, is something that is fundamental to our survival. And I mean, not even survival now, you know? It's like, it's basic. It's the basis of how we succeed when we have a good social life and good people around us. Not to say that people that don't take care of their looks can't have good friends and like good people around them, but humans are visual animals. And if you asked any person, I mean, first impressions are one of the most important things that people often neglect, right? People say, be yourself. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. There's no substance in the phrase, just be yourself. Because, especially for young people, they don't even have a sense of self. So, what are you telling them? Be nothing? They have to interact with people. They have to interact with the world in order to gain a sense of self. But when you tell them, just be yourself, they have nothing to rely on, to hold on to. And not saying that we need that, but a lot of people become so lost. I know I was so goddamn lost because I always was like, what the hell does it mean to be myself? Because I low-key didn't like myself. I felt like I was an introvert. I felt like I made interactions like just weird. Right? I felt like I was an impatient person, someone who would like cling super hardly onto people. And those things are not like inherently bad. There just isn't good or bad. But it definitely wasn't something I enjoyed about myself, right? There doesn't have to be good and bad, but there's certain characteristics and traits that make your life easier, right? Someone who doesn't talk to people and just like lives in their own world, that's fine, and I think that's perfect. Not perfect, but it's like, it's fine, right? Everyone can decide how they want to live on their own accord. But to say that life will be enjoyable or easy, I mean, again, it's all subjective. But, I mean, there's Harvard studies that say social life is one of the most fundamental things for long-term happiness. And how do you have a social life when you don't talk to people, when you don't interact with the world you're in? And I know, as someone who I guess identified as an introvert in the past, becoming more extroverted or trying to be someone who is sociable and like quote-unquote charismatic improved my life by like tenfold. It makes everything seem so much more interesting. But that also comes from my innate interest in humans. And I wouldn't project my interest of people onto, you know, every single human being, because everyone has their individual differences and preferences. But I tend to use generalizations. And I know science is, well, it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I'm kind of forgetting my psychology classes right now. But you can only get conclusions by making some sort of like hypothetical about like general, like a certain sample size, right? You create these groups like, men are like typically more conservative compared to women. That's like that kind of stuff. This is all made up. I do not know the specific statistics about it, so don't quote anything I'm saying. I know the Harvard thing is true. I mean, I saw it on TED Talk, and I didn't really cite this or like check the source, but I would believe it. I'm not saying that's a good thing, because I think the best thing, I mean, okay, it's like a two thing. It's like I have anecdotal evidence and also empirical evidence. So you can call me biased, but I don't give a damn. And goddamn, is this car taking a long time? But yeah, what else is there? I think that's it for now. I'm almost getting to my school. Hopefully I'm not late today. I gotta find parking. I should just like hopefully I find parking. It's 9:23. My class starts at like 9:30. So if I take like 2 minutes to find parking, maybe I should start skating in class. Road work ahead. I sure hope it does. I love Drew Gooden with a passion. And I think I can pass. Sumimasen. Oh, now I can't get that. Oh yeah. Oh no. And no. And no. I should be more familiar with this already. And I guess I kinda am, because I'm driving like 25. I usually drive like 15. I'm checking these. Oh god. My bad, guy. I just fucking ruined his day. No, I didn't. I just that's funny. Anyway, I have found parking, and I hope I don't forget where I park again. Because I did last time, because I was like on a phone call with a friend. And God, it took me like 10 minutes to remember where I parked. And I hope the audio isn't bad, because I'm connected to the car. And oh my god, my shoulders are so oh, cute doggy, so cute. That's I don't know, 13 minutes with me, or driving with me.